surely this is what Saturday mornings are all about. Hoping to continue where he left off, the reigning champion begins his defence. Live from Sheffield's Crucible Theatre.
From Gold Coast, Augusta and Aintree, the sporting compass now points to Sheffield and to these men as they embark on the annual Snooker Marathon and the quest to become King of the Crucible. Good morning. Comes around quickly, doesn't it? We are raring to go on the opening morning of this year's Betfred World Snooker Championship. The 900 seats in Sheffield's famous little Crucible Theatre are all being taken, and it's almost time for curtain up. As ever, there's been much excited chatter and a delicious sense of anticipation ahead of 17 days of intrigue in the quest to capture this beautiful piece of silverware. But it's all very well booking your place to watch. Actually getting to play here is a whole different ball game. The top 16 players, as ever, have qualified by right to be in this. The rest of them, well, they've had to scrap it out just down the road in the dreaded qualifying rounds.
Sometimes you can go there with no game and play well, and sometimes you can go there thinking you're playing well and collapse. You know, it's one of those places it can either inspire you to play well or you can crumple under the lights there.
It's a dream come true. You know, I remember watching when I was a kid. Never really thought I'd achieve the goal of actually playing there myself.
Watched it growing up and all that sort of thing, but you know, at the end of the day, you strip it down to a snooker table and I'll play somebody else on a snooker table at the Crucible, so that's all it is to me.
I'm really chuffed, yeah, because I'm not getting any younger, and sometimes you think, will I ever get back there? And you know, to be back this year, it feels great.
When I was in the top 16, I was the good draw. I'm not the good draw now because I'm the qualifier, because I'm sure none of the top 16 will lose any sleep playing me, but they would still rather be easier players than playing me.
At the end of the day, it's a world championship, so if you don't get the butterflies walking out, no matter what arena it is, if it's a world championship, then you shouldn't be playing the game, really.
And so our lineup for 2018 looks like this. The reigning champion, Mark Selby, goes for 3 Crucible crowns in a row. Tough start against Joe Perry. New Masters champ Mark Allen meets fellow lefty Liam Highfield, one of 4 new boys. Welcome back 2-time Crucible finalist Matthew Stevens facing 9th seed Kyron Wilson. A former winner here, Sean Murphy, has the red-hot Welsh qualifier Jamie Jones in his way. He's lost to him before. Another quest for a 5th world title for John Higgins begins against Thai debutant Tetchaya. Another winner, Stuart Bingham, against a very confident and capable Jack Lazowski. Belgium's Luca Brissell meets former semi-finalist here Ricky Walden. And will it finally go right for the exciting Judd Trump? Another new boy, Chris Wakeland, hopes not. Crucible runner-up 2 years ago, Ding Junhui meets fellow Chinese Cuban Tiao Guodong. Welshman Ryan Day hasn't won a title till this season. Now he's got 3, facing Anthony McGill. First big test today after eye surgery for Hong Kong's Marco Fu against Liu Haotian. Crucible specialist Barry Hawkins against Grimsby's world number 56 Stuart Carrington. Mark Williams is back, and how? 3 titles this term. He's got Sussex pro Jimmy Robertson. Can Aussie Neil Robertson prolong the Gold Rush sporting glow? Unfinished business for him against Rob Milkins, whilst a granite fest between Ali Carter and Graham Dott again. And man of the season, 5-title O'Sullivan soars into Sheffield to meet Glasgow's Stephen Maguire. And as ever at the Crucible, our lineup would not be complete without our 2 wonderful champions, Steve Davis and John Parrott, who are brimming with enthusiasm. Well, it is day 1 after all, I suppose, John. Welcome back. You could make the case for maybe 10 players this year, couldn't you?
I mean, I've scouted through that draw, and there's no way you'd want to put yourself in it. It's the most wonderful lineup. It's very competitive, and whoever wins at the end of 17 days will definitely have deserved it.
Now, timing is everything in life, and Mark Selby is only trying to do what you and Stephen Hendry have achieved, and that's win it 3 times in a row. His timing in terms of the season, which has not been fantastic by his own high standards, is pretty good now, though.
Yeah, he won in China, so therefore perhaps he's got a bit more confidence. It was looking worrying for him earlier in the season. Ronnie O'Sullivan's taken most of the accolades, but I think Mark Selby at the World Championships is a different prospect entirely. Once he gets his claws into this event, he's very tough to beat. But even though you can make a case for so many of the players, I think it's very much the fact that Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby may be featuring very heavily in this tournament.
Indeed. You mentioned Ronnie, the man of the season, 5 big titles, first time he's ever managed that in his career. He says he's too old for this, says he doesn't have the staying power.
Well, he's won it 5 times before, so it must have been someone else doing it for him. He can definitely have the staying power. And I actually think, looking at the draw as well, if I was Ronnie there, he probably would admit it, but seeing Mark Selby and John Higgins in the top half mightn't be the worst thing for him.
Now, you're talking about some of the elder statesman of the game in Ronnie, obviously into his 40s, so too Mark Williams, John Higgins. But those 3, the class of 92, have kind of bossed the season so far, haven't they?
Yeah, it's fascinating. And from that perspective, I think we're all excited to see what's going to happen, because you do need staying power to play here at the Crucible and last a distance. So you've got to be fit as well. That's sort of good from Ronnie's perspective, I think. But surely somewhere down the line, there's going to be young players coming through who've got more fire, more determination, and perhaps the physical fitness to get through the 2 weeks. And we do have a number of surprise wins at the World Championship that we sometimes don't have, even the Masters in the UK. But it's still hard to look past some of the great players we've got in the game still. OK, if not the older generation, who amongst the younger lads is your pick?
Well, I wouldn't go young, but someone who's definitely younger than those. I think Ding Junhui, if he doesn't win a World Championship, it'll be a travesty. He's played so well in this place for the last few years. He didn't like it initially when he first came to the Crucible. He didn't like the venue very much and didn't have good results. But the last couple of years, it's taken Selby in a final to beat him and Selby in a semi, and he's in the other half of him as well. So I expect Ding to have a good tournament. OK, we're all looking forward to it. We always love this championship. What for you gets the goosebumps going on the first day? Easy for me to say.
I think the fact of, well, if you look at today's play, every one of the top seeds has got a nightmare first round, and I think there's no hiding place anymore. OK, well, there is no breaking you in gently, gentlemen, because this is the first of our 150 hours of live coverage between now and May Bank Holiday Monday. And as is tradition, we start with the defending champion, Mark Selby. He is in the first of our 3 snooker sessions today. At Selby on the road to a possible 4th world title. We've got Marco Fu's first match for 3 months. He's up against 20-year-old debutant Liu Haotian. Then the Rockets opener against the ever-dangerous former UK champ Stephen Maguire. That dominates the afternoon's play. Karen Wilson, Matthew Stevens tough it out on the other table. And whilst 2-time finalist Ali Carter and former champ Graham Dott get going at 7, the defending champion plays to a finish. Selby, fueled by memories of events here 12 months ago and, of course, the enduring support of his family.
You're doing it for them, really. They're the people who supported me over the years and willed me on when things are not going good. When they're going great, it's obviously great to have them there as well and share the moment with them. Every snooker player's dream, I think. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. The first one will always be special to win it for that very first time, but winning it for the second and third time was just as special as the first. I've been really consistent over the last 3 or 4 years, so at some stage I was always going to have a little blip where I wasn't playing as good, and that seemed to be this year. The start of the season was sort of a non-runner really, with me breaking my toe. I was out for about 2 months. But then saying that, I'm judging it on last season where I won 5 tournaments, so whatever I achieved this year was always going to be a failure compared to last year.
He's a credit to the sport and his family. He's the jester from Leicester. He's Mark Selby.
It's going to be great walking out there as defending champion Saturday morning. Can't wait to get going now. Anything less than winning it, obviously I'm disappointed, so you have to come to tournament believing that you can win, and I'll come here this year believing I can win, and that's all you can ask for.
Once again, your champion, Mark Selby!
Well, Joe Perry may be into his 40s, but he's got nothing to fear and nothing to lose against the defending champion today. It's his 15th appearance at the Crucible, and his semi-final appearance in 2008 was his greatest moment here. Been a mixed bag since then, not been past the last 16 since, and in fact, it's a welcome back to the former Masters finalist after failing to book his spot 12 months ago. Now, Perry's a former top 10 player, certainly one of the qualifiers Selby would rather have avoided. After all, Gentleman Joe has a pretty decent record against Mark, with 4 wins to his 5, although they've only played once since Selby first became a world champion. And now, no matter how strong your Crucible record may be, these are the moments that always set the nerves on edge, and the moment that we know for real it is Crucible time again. And it also means that we are about to unleash the emceeing answer to Tigger. It can only be Mr. Rob Walker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. After crisscrossing the globe for the best part of a year, the best are back in Sheffield for a crack at the big one. It's the 2018 Betfred World Snooker Championship, and it starts right here, right now, at the sport's spiritual home. This is the Crucible. Please welcome the youngest player in this year's World Championship, one of 4 first-timers for 2018. Semi-finalist in this season's Northern Ireland Trophy, he first made a quarter-final at the age of 14, 6 years ago back in China. Making his Crucible debut, Liu Heo Chan. The sun goes down, the stars come out, and all that counts is here and now. My universe will never be the same. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you came. And his opponent, an absolute gentleman of the modern game. He first appeared here in '99, twice a semi-finalist, twice a quarter-finalist, winner of 3 ranking titles in all. Great to see him playing once again, the pride of Hong Kong, Marco Fu. And on table 1, a player who also made his Crucible debut back in '99, semi-finalist in 2008, winner of the Players' Championship title 3 years ago. He's made 4 big quarter-finals this season. He is the gentleman. He is Joe Perry. And finally, as tradition dictates, the first morning sees the return of the man who last lifted the trophy. Victory in China earlier this month proves he is back to form at just the right time. So here comes the current world #1, the reigning and defending world champion, the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby.
So we're on air here on BBC 2 until 12 noon. Red button coverage is showing table 2's opening session between Fu and Liu, but in truth it's probably best to keep a second screen handy all day. Champing at the bit though to get started here on 2. It's hello to Ken Doherty and Dennis Taylor. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Hazel, and a very good morning to everyone. And yeah, got butterflies here in the commentary box with Ken Doherty.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame. Mark Selby's great.
Always great to see the opening shot in the World Championship, and it's the defending champion who's going to get this match underway. Should be a cracker, Ken.
Yeah, should be a cracker. Difficult match for the defending champion. Playing Joe Perry because of his vast experience, you know. Semi-finalist here, as we saw, losing to Ali Carter a few years ago now. But he's a very capable player, Joe Perry. One of those few players in the draw, Dennis, that you would say that Mark Selby would have wanted to avoid.
Yeah, that long red would have been a nice one to have started with, but hasn't left anything easy here. So. That's quite an attacking shot. You can see he scattered the reds there and screwed the cue ball back, so got to be careful now, because one mistake with the ball sitting like this, you could see a sizable break.
It's going to be interesting to see how Mark Selby plays in this opening match, Dennis. You know, he hasn't had the best of seasons by his own admission, but certainly the timing of winning the China Open only just a couple of weeks ago would have certainly helped his preparations coming into this event. But it's always difficult, isn't it, as defending champion?
Yeah, we always say, and you always felt when you were playing this first round, if you can get through that, that's when the tournament really starts for you, because you go to 3 sessions then, and you've got a little bit of leeway, so to speak. But he's looking at this long red down into the corner pocket. This would be a nice early confidence booster. Just take both players a while to settle in. They've both had a go at longish pots.
Well, he's got this red into this bottom right hand corner pocket. Not quite sure where he can swing the cue ball just enough, just to miss the black and try and kiss into the red, just to the left of the black, and try and hold for it into the same pocket. Well, he's taking the more straighter one. He doesn't like the other one. Oh, long way away from that now. Chance for Mark Selby here. That was a very nervy attempt from Joe Perry. And as you said, Dennis, there's always the early nerves on this first day at the Crucible. You remember your first time here?
Yeah, I do, certainly, yeah. 1977, Ken, and I've been here every year since, either playing or commentating. It's just a magical place to be involved. And the crowd, look how close they are when you've got 2 tables. I always say if you were on the cushion, the front row could reach out and grab your cue. In fact, there was times I wish one of them had it done the way we're playing.
7.
It's not ideal just yet. Would have liked to be a little bit straighter on these reds to the bottom right hand corner pocket.
Eight.
He's okay for the green into the left centre. He just had a look at the red in bulk as well, so may just come down for that red. Well, decide to come back up towards the reds in the middle of the table now, as he overran it slightly.
11.
That's just the pace, isn't it, of the table, Dennis?
It looks to be playing beautifully, very, very quick, and that's how the players prefer it. Even though it's the opening day, the cloth seems to be quite quick. Usually in a venue, first day, you get maybe just a little bit of dampness in the cloth or slate, but of course they have table heaters. So it looks to be playing beautifully, and that time he just misjudged the pace of it. There's the table heater. See, a lot of the players have them in their clubs now on their practice tables, Ken, so they've got the same conditions.
Yeah, a lot of people are always inquiring about that. What does actually that mean, that digital clock there? Well, what it is, it's a table heater underneath the table. And there you see it, it's 45 degrees. That's how hot the heaters are underneath the table. Now, of course, when the heat rises through the slate and onto the bed of the cloth, it's only possibly in the mid-20s. It's not 45 degrees on the cloth when the player puts his hand down on the cloth.
15.
Because that would be obviously way too hot. And what it does, that heater, just takes all the dampness out of the cloth.
16.
And keeps the cloth running nice and quick.
Now gradually Mark's trying to work his way up to the black here. He's just had a look at both reds either side of the black. He's got other choices available to him, but if he could get that into play, there's every chance he could make a sizable break here.
Yeah, just got to avoid the red just to the left of the pink and try and get down towards those two reds, as you mentioned. Well, he's gone the other way. It hasn't worked out as well as he would have liked. He still got the red into the right centre, but
21.
hedging his bets there, wasn't he?
He didn't want to cannon the pink, it was the reds he was trying to cannon there. Let's see if he can judge the positional shot better this time. You can see the screw back there. The white almost stopped and then started to spin back, and he's played it perfectly. Just watch the white. It almost stops and then all of a sudden picks up pace, and couldn't have played it any better. Well, I say that, but another inch and he could have just potted this red and screwed back on the black. I don't know whether he can do that now. Yeah, it's just a fraction of being absolutely perfectly white, a little bit to the left, and it would have been ideal. So he's got to be a little bit careful here with the cannon. Oh, he's played that well. If he misses the blue,
26.
yeah.
There's one thing he does possess, and he has in his locker, is certainly plenty of cue power. Now, nice little cannon into the reds here. Hold the cue ball. Oh, well, that's end of break. Needed to hit that
31.
with a bit more pace. Needed to get a full ball cannon on that red. He'd be very disappointed.
Mark Selby, 31.
Well, 31 break for Max Selby, but would have felt that he should have won the frame from that position.
Still got a decent chance if he can get in, that is. Where the reds are situated, black's out of commission at the moment. Now, will he risk the long pot? It's the sort of shot that the players will set up in the practice room and play it time and time again. Good cueing there. The red went in the right side of the pocket, that's why he hasn't finished straight on the pink, but shouldn't be a problem. Just have to concentrate on the pink and blue for the time being. Pink not available into the left corner, so we'll go down for the blue here.
8.
And psychologically, this would be a bit of a blow for the defending champion, because he was in amongst the balls and he knows he should have made enough to have won this opening frame. Joe just overran on the blue there, so took the yellow to get back to the reds, and he's played this well.
10. $11.
Of course, he's won 3 matches to get here, Joe.
17.
So he's in fine form. He won his first round 10-1 against Ross Muir, and then beat Jimmy White 10-5. And in the final qualifying round, he beat Mark Davis 10-7. So he's certainly been cueing very well.
$23. $24.
It's not going to be easy to score a great deal more with a couple of reds. Awkward. But this next red will take them all square in this frame, but it gets a bit more difficult now.
Yeah, black is available. It may try and dislodge the black, and well, I thought he might have gone into the red just to the left of the black, but decided against it. Could have played a little cannon on that red and brought the black and red more into open play. Just having a look at the cue ball. Must be a little bit of chalk or maybe a hair.
And Brendan Moore will be doing the final, Ken, his second final that he'll have refereed. The last time he refereed it was Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby that played in the final, so he's doing the final this year.
Yeah, it's a great occasion, isn't it, for the referees as well. And of course, Brendan being a local
37.
boy from the area, of course, makes it even more special.
38.
Now he's got a nice angle here. You can pot the black. Make a little cannon on the red, just to nudge it slightly off the cushion. There you go. There's the little nudge. It's come off the cushion nicely. Now, imperative when potting this red that he gets a nice angle on the black to get close to that last red on the right hand side of the table. So pot the red, nice angle on the black.
Anything but straight. If he's straight on the black, he may have to go for the pink to screw over behind that red. And you can, mind you, looking at that angle, if he screws back, he might be able to dislodge the red. I think he could possibly do that, but well, that tells you he's not even thinking about that. I think the pink and in behind the red would be the shot. Yeah, he's looked at both pink and black, and it's the pink he chooses.
Great attempt, wasn't it?
52. Yeah, he decided not to just drop in behind it, but it hasn't put it in a potable position, or not an easy potable position, that's for sure. Just a little thin one, and maybe get a snooker behind the green here.
Joe Perry, 52.
And you can see Mark Selby just tapped the table there as he came to it. Just an acknowledgement of that fine effort from Joe there.
This looks good, Dennis. This looks very, very good indeed.
I think that type of shot and the type of game he has is the reason he's won 3 world titles in the last 4 years. He's such a fine tactical player, and he's one of the best I've ever seen in the game at judging the angles.
Thanks.
Now he's got to swerve this slightly, miss the middle pocket, lots of left hand side, and he'll hit this red. Is the blue going to come to his rescue? I think it has. Yeah, settle for that, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was never a problem of hitting the red. I'm always worried about getting it safe, and certainly being very happy with that result. I'm always trusting a little bit of luck where the red is going to go. Now, the important part for Mark Selby here is obviously hitting the red, but again, trying to get it safe. It's pretty good. Excellent shot. He's left it, but good hit. Tried to put that red onto the middle of the right-hand side cushion. Good chance for Joe Perry here. That's excellent. Great shot. 22 points ahead, just the black required.
Yeah, no heroics with the black, just make sure of it, don't worry about the position. But it's only one snooker that's needed, so. But imperative he knocked the black in, that's why he didn't play. If he had been behind, he would have played up onto the yellow. He just made sure of the black there. And if he cuts this into the right corner, it'll be a little bonus. Not quite, but have a look at the cue ball.
Joe Perry, 8.
Look at that, he snookered them behind all 4, the brown, the blue, the pink and the black. That's what we call the old Irish snooker, to be sure, to be sure, to be sure, to be sure. There's 4 colours there. very good escape, but stuck the yellow up.
Two. Five. Nine.
Doesn't matter about the blue.
Joe Perry, 9. And
Mark
the first
Selby,
one.
the defending champion, started with a break of 31. I thought he was going to win the frame at one visit. He didn't. Joe Perry came back and he takes the opening frame and leads Mark Selby 1-0.
So, there we go. It's Joe Perry who started the better of the two. The world champion still to get off the mark. And this is the betting for this year's championship. As you can see, Mark featuring very highly in the minds of the bookmakers at 92. He's the second favourite to Ronnie O'Sullivan. No surprise, John Parrott there. But how do you like the look of the rest of these odds?
Well, obviously the bookmakers generally know what they're doing, so they generally get it right. You'd have to say with Ronnie being in the other half of the draw as well, and the way he's played this year, he's a worthy favourite. Mark Selby was a massive price a couple of weeks ago. He was a 7-to-1 shot. I was telling the world and his wife, if he'd listened, the 7-to-1 was big, but then I didn't realise he was going to get Joe Perry in the draw, which is a thinker. As for everybody else, I like the look of Ding. I think Ding will have a good tournament. And listen, Neil Robertson's a class act. If he gets his game back, 16-to-1 could be big for him as well.
Tell you what, 40-to-1 Ryan Day is not a bad each way, is it?
Yeah, he's massively improved, isn't he? He's won a couple of tournaments. It was the only thing that was missing from his CV was a couple of wins. He's been in the winner's circle a couple of times now, so the confidence will be high, and he's capable of beating anybody.
OK, so it's back to table one we go, where Mark Selby, who's been #1 in this sport for, what, 38, 39 months now? Extraordinary run. He's the man to beat, well, anywhere on the circuit, and most especially right here at the Crucible.
Nice angle. Trying to pot this red. He can miss the black and the red. Back up for balk. Got a long way away from this. Didn't go near the pocket really. I'd be disappointed with that, Joe Perry. Okay, it went close, but 9 times out of 10 you'd expect him to pot that red.
Well judged there to cover the red. That's near the right corner pocket. Joe might have to just come off the side cushion and nestle onto that red, because it's a much more difficult shot for him to come off the bunch and cover that. So just off the cushion and land on it. Oh, has he hit it hard enough? Yeah, the table's quick. That should reach. Might find himself down behind the yellow again. A little thin one, white, close to the baulk cushion. Oh, behind the brown will do. Not quite. You can just see the side of the reds to get back down. Just making sure there that he's not going to knock a red over this left corner. Last shot's a snooker player's pet hate. When you play a safety shot and you catch one of the balk colours. Very annoying for a player, that. That's what he's looking at there, Joe. Got to make sure he doesn't knock a red towards the left corner. Wow. Did he quietly have a look at that plant? Because he didn't do any apologising. He just walked round and he might have had a glance at it.
Joe Perry 1.
He knows that that was such an important contribution there. Quite sharp, these middle pockets. Touch the jaw, you've got no chance of them dropping in.
One.
It just depends where this black's going. It might have to go up onto the highest available, which is the green, unless there's just maybe enough room for it to go back on its spot. Might just be. And yeah, plenty of room. And a little nudge here could bring the black into play. If he can pot the red and just flick that red away.
8.
He's got to be a little bit careful the way he plays the cannon to make sure he doesn't knock the black safe.
Yeah, could play it with a little bit of top spin. He's judged that very nicely indeed. Just watch the side spin off the top and side cushion.
$16. $17.
Made a costly error in the voice frame, just trying to make a little cannon from blue to reds. Went wrong and stopped him in his tracks. Let's see what he can do here.
$24.
And even
25.
for, you know, a man who's won so many tournaments, Dennis, and 3 times winner of this wonderful event, he's still always a little bit nervous in the opening exchanges. Until you get that first frame on the board, of course, and make a nice sizable contribution.
32. $33.
This match concludes this evening. Some of the matches are over 2 days. The first 10 that will go through to the next round, and then we
39.
have 3 sessions.
$40. Keep the noise down, please. Thank you.
A little bit of noise from the other table there in between frames at the moment.
just got a little text from a couple of lads down in Mark's Academy in Leicester called the Jesters. They're all watching avidly this morning, supporting their local boy here. Hasn't judged that little cannon on the red as well as he would have liked. He's still got this red into the left centre, back up for the blue or ball colour. Safely in. Now just one good positional shot now from Brown. Back up to the reds.
He's left it a little awkward for himself here, Ken. He wanted the white a bit further up the table towards the pink. That's the angle, so he's got to be careful he doesn't cannon the green, and if he screws back he doesn't catch the pink. So, oh, now then. It's the last thing that the defending champion wanted to see. And straight away you look at your tip to make sure you haven't damaged it, because that type of shot you can take a little piece out of the tip. But you can see how low he was down, trying to create the backspin.
Yeah, not quite sure whether he even contemplated. Oh, Joe, that was a chance. Missed. Just going back to that shot on the brown, Dennis, he didn't even look at the blue. It was a virtually straight blue into the top left-hand corner pocket here.
Well, it hasn't cost Mark. So he's got a 47-point advantage. He's got a couple of reds awkward, so you'd have to say he's a firm favourite for this second frame, but we thought he was going to take the opening frame quite comfortably, and he broke down on 31. And as I say, miscuing like that just knocks a little bit of the confidence out of you. If that red goes in, he wins the frame, because there's enough easy reds for Mark to take the frame. So Joe has a chance, but as I mentioned, a couple of reds awkward.
Yellow ball.
Oh, that's not. Well, I don't know if he got a kick or not. Didn't sound like a kick. Let's have a. Possibly. Maybe it was a little heavy contact that took the yellow offline, because you wouldn't expect Joe to miss an easy shot like that. Doesn't like that one into the right middle pocket, so he's taken the long red that's almost straight there. So both players looking a little bit edgy in this second frame, but that is what the Crucible Theatre can do to you in your first round. Let's see how this red runs along the cushion here.
9.
Yeah, they tend to go in off that right jaw as he was looking at it. If you touch the near jaw, left jaw as he looks at it, sometimes they don't drop. Now the brown's awkward and the red on the same side of the table is awkward.
16.
But it's not a bad chance, this.
17.
And if he can pot the red, leave an angle on the black, he could try and take that red off the
24.
left side cushion. He's got the other one in the open, but I'm sure he'd be attempting that.
25.
Yeah, he's got the angle to do that now. So a key shot coming up here. How's the cannon? Oh, not quite. But he might be able to take the other red. And the one that he nudged, he could even take a double on in it. Just needed to hit it slightly harder. He's thinking about the double now. It's not a bad choice. He'd get nicely on the black. Well, he's had a good long hard look at it, but back to the other red.
Going to be very, very difficult to nudge this red out. Always happens. And that particular shot would have loved to have been on the other side of the table to try and
38.
Get that red off the side cushion. Plenty of life left in this frame.
Joe Perry, 38.
The fact that Mark Selby is still 8 points in the lead. If he gets a chance, he's going to still need that brown that's tied to the left-hand side cushion that Dennis has mentioned. I don't think he's going to go for the pot here. I think he may knock the red back up towards the yellow, back into the ball game anyway, and try and get this cue ball tight behind this black here. Oh, looks good. Looks very good. Excellent shot.
That's what he's faced with, and it's a bit awkward because the brown's in the way of a 2-cushion escape, and the middle pocket is in the way of the 1-cushion escape, so he's going to have to be a bit careful here. Needs a little touch of side on this. And well, it's not bad. It will cut this red, but he'd like to miss the cannon on the yellow if he could. And he just about missed that, and that's a useful kiss to knock the green up the table and finish perfect on the pink.
He's had a glance at the scores now. I wonder, when potting this pink, Dennis, will he leave a nice angle on the yellow to try and disturb the brown? The fact that the green has gone close to this bottom right-hand corner pocket. May leave an angle when potting this pink on the yellow. No. Thought he'd get close to the ball cushion there. Pot the yellow, bring the brown out, and still have this green into the corner pocket, but he
7.
doesn't like that shot.
Yeah, if he can get on the green in such a way and then play the green and get the white down near where I've put the other white there, the brown would be on. But it's all about this positional shot. Oh, he's nose the middle. Oh, there's the black on the snooker.
9.
I think so.
Such a poor shot, Dennis, wasn't it? I mean, for someone of Mark Selby's ability just to overhit this by so much. I mean, he wanted to be close to this top cushion with the cue ball. He's always shot it by a good 18, almost 24 inches. He's struggling at the moment. He's
Mark Selby
not very confident. He should have won this frame a long time ago.
It's a strange choice there. It was as if he was trying to put that green, but what was he going to do with the brown? He's put himself bang in trouble if Joe's got in behind the black here. No, just overdone it. Well, he hasn't pushed the green on. He almost got a DDK there, Ken, the dreaded double kiss. But at least he hasn't stuck the green up.
Round of applause for the snooker, but just playing this sort of a bit of left-hand side off the top cushion. Leave the cue ball where the green is, and try and snooker Joe back. He's a bit unlucky there, actually. Anywhere would hit in the middle pocket, and he would have been snookered. And just look where the green is finished. Now he's got an angle here when potting this green. Could get close to the brown. No.
3.
Yeah, it's what we call now a brown ball fight, you would say. Whoever pots the brown should go on to take the frame.
Joe Perry 3.
These are the type of situations that Mark Selby sort of revels in. Got such a good knowledge of the angles and such a good match player, safety player. But Joe Perry is no slouch in that department either. He's got a very good all-round game as well. That's why he's been one of the very consistent performers over the last like 10 or 15 years. This looks very good. Very clever shot indeed. Yeah, a little tap on the toe from Joe Perry. It looked quite a straightforward, simple shot, but very effective indeed.
And Joe will settle for that, because that type of escape, you're never sure where you're going to knock the object ball, and it's gone in an awkward position for Mark Selby. I think Joe might be able to get past the pink to the potting angle here. So I'll tell you what, one good long pot here, and wow, it could be 2-0, but it's a tough one. The chances there. He's played it well. Needs to pull up a little bit. Just gone slightly the wrong side of the blue. One good shot, and what a start this would be for gentleman Joe Perry if he takes the second frame as well.
Joe Perry. Yeah, excellent from Joe Perry. Good long ground. Held his nerve, and now gentleman Joe Perry leads the defending champion Mark Selby by 2 frames to 0.
Oh, it's getting pretty hot in there, and these are the winter gardens, and I must say it's pleasantly cool in here today. This is our home. We've made camp here for the next 17 days, or actually we will go into the Crucible just at the semi-final stages, so we're just enjoying our beautiful surroundings here as we always do, and enjoying things from just across the road from the Crucible Theatre. And your impressions, gentlemen, of the defending champion being put under a little bit of a squeeze to start, Steve?
Yeah, first round's not enjoyable for the favourites, I feel, and if it goes wrong, it can go seriously wrong. I think we've all got memories of that. I had a match where I thought I was playing quite well coming into the event, lost the first frame and collapsed. And it can happen. Mark Selby obviously hasn't totally settled down yet, and he's playing against a guy that's already played 3 matches in the World Championship to qualify here, so he's sharp.
And he's beaten Jimmy White amongst them, and indeed his great pal Mark Davis in the final qualifying match, and by all accounts looked very good.
Yeah, he was playing really well. I mean, all the boys have come back. Alan McManus was telling me before, Joe played really well qualifying, and it's obviously, if you know you're in good stroke coming in, that's a massive advantage. Selby does look a little bit nervous. We all know about the first rounds. You just want to get it over with and get involved. I actually thought, bizarrely, this might not be totally the worst draw, because you know from ball one you've got to be at it, because Joe Perry is one of the best qualifiers, but at the moment it's not proving that to be the case.
Well, these first round matches, as ever, are best of 2 sessions. It's set 19 frames that they'll play, so first to 10 going through, so there's a long way to go, but an interesting start to this match for our defending champion.
Yeah, it certainly is an interesting start for Mark Selby, and not the best break off. You want the white close to the cushion to prevent this type of shot. It's amazing that shot that Joe's just knocked in. The players do practice them, and you can see where he's left the cue ball. He wasn't playing it as a shot to nothing. It can be a crucial shot to start a frame if you can knock it in and get on a bought colour. And you'd have to say Joe has certainly settled the better of the two, and he's in with an early chance. Let's see how many he can make here.
Five.
12. $13.
He's got a couple of loose reds, but he's got a nice angle on the black here if he wants to go into the pack here. Oh, he settled for that. Nicely on this red.
20.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to go wrong, and then that little nudge on the pink has left him perfect, and that's the sort of thing that can happen if you start playing well. Yeah, you get the little nudges here and there, Ken, and when you're struggling, it goes wrong for
21.
you. But he's looking very good here.
Yeah, black will be 28, and he's still got 3 open reds. That's his target,
28.
69 before his opponent will need a snooker.
29.
Now into the pack again, nice angle on the black because he'd be holding for the loose red into the same pocket as the black. Played it nicely. Didn't bring any reds. Could have played it with a little bit more pace just to bring some
36.
reds into play. Back up for the blue. If he gets a nice angle on the blue, he definitely go back into the pack of reds here. And just one good split, and could be another frame on the board. Now, how's your split? Why didn't you hit it a little bit harder, Joe?
42.
Not quite sure, Dennis, why he didn't hit that just a little bit with a bit more pace. I mean, any bit more pace and he'd be opening the reds into the. Surely would have been on one. That pace is going to always go wrong. Okay, he's got to feel himself a little bit unfortunate, but just have a look at the pace he's played this with. Why not just hit it a little bit more?
Yeah, it was just one of those you thought, if I get the cannon, I'm bound to be on one, but that's the sort of thing that can happen there. You can stick on a red, and yeah, that definitely would have been 3-0 if he had dropped on a red there with 42 points already on the board.
Joe Perry, 42.
Chance missed for Joe Perry, but he's still got a nice lead of 42 points. Mark Selby very relieved coming back to the table.
He's looking to see if he can see enough of this red to maybe cut it into the corner pocket. I could never judge it looking from this side of the table, but Mark's had a look from both sides, and well, he's looking at the potting angle, so he feels he can get past the green just to clip the red. The green's a bit of a distraction as we show you this attempt again. It was far from easy, but the green's just distracting Joe a little bit with his bridge hand there to take this red on. In fact, he might refuse it in the end. The last thing you want to do with a 42-point advantage is miss one and put your opponent in with the ball sitting like this. That's a terrific shot. With the bridge hand hampered with the green there, that was a very confident long red that he knocked in. That's pretty good, isn't it? Long pot success rate, 78%. So one nice cannon, and it's 3-0, you would say. But hang on, it's not the best cannon in the world. He's going to have to take the one up past the blue by the looks of things.
8.
It was another one of those shots he felt, if I get a cannon, I'm bound to be on an easy one. So one long straight red. Oh, nicely played. He's had some good results against Mark Selby. Mark leads the head-to-head 5-4, but Joe's wins have been 4-2, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1.
Always, as I said, very consistent performer over the last 10 or 15 years, Joe Perry. Just falling outside the top 16, and that's why he's had to qualify and win 3 matches, but won those matches very impressively indeed. Ross Muir, Jimmy White, and then his good friend Mark Davis.
19.
It's quite amazing. He's been a professional 26 years, Ken.
27.
Where have the years gone? I remember Joe coming on the scene. We used to play him as an amateur when you'd do exhibitions around the Wisbech area. But he's got a great temperament and a great pace with his play. You know, he doesn't rush anything, but he's quite fluent. He's got just a nice pace around the table.
And this is average shot time, 20 seconds. That's pretty quick by anybody's standards.
$43. 44.
He's certainly putting the world #1 and defending champion under a bit of pressure here. Nobody would have expected this scoreline.
51. $52.
He'll be hoping to knock the lot in here, just to. Oh, he's played that too hard, so.
$56. Joe Perry, 56.
Mark stays in the seat, and the defending champion under early pressure here. Joe Perry now leads 3-0.
He does, and when you look back at Mark Selby's run here at the Crucible last year, beating Fergal O'Brien 10-2, then there was a 13-6 against Guodong, and then there was Markov with 13-3. Wasn't really pressured until the semi-final. Suddenly, he's bang under it here.
Yeah, 11:15 in the morning, and he's right under it. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't have thought it, would you? We were talking about, you know, who you fancy outright to win, and he's obviously one of the favourites to do so. He's got a massive frame coming up so early in the tournament, because if it's 4-0 at the interval, that's a lot to give Joe Perry as a start.
Steve, we were talking when we were watching that about your feelings coming here in, what, 89? You just won 87, 88, and you did win in '89. You were on for 3 in a row, and I was asking you about whether you come back, having not been beaten in this venue for 2 years, thinking, hey, I roll the world here. How was your preparation coming in after such a brilliant run?
I don't think I ever thought about the fact that you treated it as if it was guaranteed you're going to do well. Every time you turn up for this event, you've got to be mentally prepared for it. So, Mark Selby has won in China recently, but perhaps the wheels aren't fully back on the wagon because it's not been the greatest of seasons. And you've got to reassert yourself at this game every time you play against a top-class player. As I mentioned before, Joe Perry's had 3 matches. He's in stroke. And if it goes wrong at the Crucible, it can go seriously wrong. The biggest problem probably for Joe Perry for the rest of this match is he knows he's now got a big fish on the ropes. He's got to keep him there, and there will become a pressure on Joe Perry to perhaps do some damage in this one session, especially after the interval.
Well, it's been a while since we saw Joe here. As I say, he missed out on the championship last year, so it's been 2 years since he's felt that pressure here at the Crucible, and he's coping very well.
Yeah, he certainly is coping very well. And the man who's not coping well at the moment is Mark Selby. Another loose safety shot. Red here's the safety shot again. Didn't want the kiss on the red. On the right-hand side of the table. You can hold for the black here as well. I'm sure it pots into the opposite corner pocket. Oh. Now Mark. Time to, as we see this Joe Perry miss again. A straightforward shot. For someone of Joe Perry's ability, he'd be very disappointed missing that. Mark's got a testy little red here. You can hold for the pink into the left centre, but when you're 3-0 down, these aren't as straightforward. And that's why and as Steve Davis said, Dennis, it's all about when you're 3-0 up against a defending champion, you've got to exert the pressure, keep them under it, and try and get as big a lead as you possibly can.
You wouldn't see that very often. 78% pot success rate for the world #1. And his long potting, as you can see, hasn't really started.
He has him against the ropes here, though, doesn't he? In all fairness. The one thing you'd have to say about Mark Selby, he's definitely the course and distance runner here. Loves the longer frame matches. One of those type of players that never shake the challenge. Such a tough competitor, and he need all those competitive instincts in this match now. Massive frame, this last one before the mid-session interval.
Yeah, just 1 hour into the defence of the Betfred World Championship, and he hasn't got a frame on the board. And as we always say, you never settle till you get that first frame on the scoreboard. He could do with it in this frame. It's 4-0, as Ken said, the mid-session interval wouldn't be good. blocked the route off down the right side of the table of the green, but he can get back down off the red near the left side cushion. A little half ball shot will take him back to the safety zone. Yeah, it's not happening at the moment for Mark Selby. He's usually so good in all departments, but he's missing the pots. He's misjudging his safety shots. Wanted to hit that a lot thinner.
One.
And this is not a bad chance because the black is available into the right corner, and in a couple of shots time, if he can get on that and the red next to it, he could free the black up completely. It's gone a little bit too far, so
3.
Play down for the blue here. Pink's available into one of the corner pockets, but the blue will be his choice here.
4.
Doesn't want to be straight. I think he's just got a slight angle here.
Nine. Ten.
He's going to come down and have a look at this red, and just below the black there's a pot into this bottom right hand corner pocket. If it does, there's certainly plenty of room and to try and get on it. There you see it, both black and red just below it pots. So big margin for error here, and he's on it nicely. And when he pots this red, he'll open the black into the left-hand corner pocket as well 15. As the right-hand corner pocket. So this is fantastic chance here for Joe Perry.
16.
And he's certainly carrying on the form that he showed in the qualifiers just last week. Played very well to beat Ross Muir, then Jimmy White, and then of course 23. Mark Davis.
$24.
Finalist in the Masters a couple of years ago as well. Lost out to
31.
Ronnie O'Sullivan in that final, but
$32.
I think he's only just won one major tournament, Dennis. I think it might have been the Players' Championship a few years ago.
39. $40.
Certainly going about his business in very competent fashion this morning.
Yeah, when you play the longer matches, you play them in little mini sessions. So the 4 frames, you set yourself a target. It would be nice if I could
47.
win 3-1. And the way Joe's going, it's going to be a bonus
48.
if he takes all 4. I mean, what a start.
We saw the odds at the beginning of the show, 9-2. Mark Selby.
55.
5-2. Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think those odds may change now. Still a long way to go though
56.
in this match. First to 10, of course. Into the last 16. Worrying times for the defending champion at the moment. Just one good positional shot here, you would feel. Another frame on the board. Red obviously pots into the right centre pocket. And if he
63.
pots it and gets back on the black. No. Well. Is there another twist?
Joe Perry 63.
Yeah, didn't see that one coming. It looked almost certain he was going to lead 4-0. And that's what he thinks of it there. Fortunately, the red ran safe, but he's going to be snookered here. So instead of being off to the mid-session interval with a 4-0 lead, he's got to battle away now.
Got to be very careful with this. Doesn't overhit it and leave the red on. Oh, he's played it nicely. Played it very nicely indeed.
I'm not sure if he can get this thin enough to get in behind the yellow and the white. Tight to the cushion. He's just looking to see where he could place the cue ball. He wants to keep all these reds in the open, being 63 behind. I say even that for Mark is poor judgment. He's so good at the angles, and to cannon the brown there was a bad misjudgment. Now, where's this red going to finish? He's getting away with it somewhat. He's missed a couple of reds. That wasn't an easy one there, but when you see it run safe, that's a big plus for you. It's what you call a nice little run of the ball when you miss.
Yeah, a couple of chances for Joe to seal this frame. Cue ball now. Right up behind the brown here for Mark Selby. And again, well, that's a poor shot. Okay, he's got close enough to the ball cushion, but really, he had a big target behind green and brown there. Oh. Now has he left this red? Has he left it? I'm not quite sure what he has from this angle. May be able to swerve it. Well, we always look at the body language. And the body language suggests that he's on this red. Yeah, there you see it. Now, what a chance for Mark Selby. 63 points down, but
one.
Great chance to steal the frame, and what a frame it would be. Could be a turning point.
seen this man win frames from this sort of situation on many, many occasions, but the first round at the Betfred World Championship, 3-0 behind. Should have been back in the dressing room 4-0 behind. Joe missed that easy red into the middle pocket to clinch the frame. But this would be typical of Mark Selby. This is the red again. He just didn't quite push the cue through in a straight line. But what a test of character this is, because he's not in stroke at the moment. Missed a few pots.
13.
Played a few poor safety shots.
He could have played that better as well, couldn't he, Dennis? He's underscrewed that red by at least 5 or 6 inches. He's going to have to go maybe in and out of bulk here. Bit of noise from the other table. Well, he could just about hold it.
40.
For the yellow and the green. Well, it's not ideal, is it? A little smile from Mark Selby up to his colleagues in the balcony. I think the brown is, for me, would probably be the better choice here. Played off the ball cushion, side cushion, back up for the 2 reds to the right of the pink. Just having a look at the scoreboard. Yeah, the brown is probably the best shot. Doesn't like it. Wow. Decided against even taking the yellow on, and it's a surprise.
Mark Selby, 40.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ken. I thought he would just drop the brown in. He'd automatically finish on the 2 reds to the right of the pink, but he thought for almost a minute and decided to play the snooker. Well, that proved to be the correct choice. It just tells us that he's lacking in a little bit of confidence at the moment.
He's 49 points behind Mark Selby. For Joe Perry's point of view, I think any sort of hit on these 2 reds right of the pink, try and hit them and maybe get one of them safe. I mean, Mark Selby's going to need. Well, this could go wrong. Good hit. It's an excellent hit. Not only to hit it, but to get it safe as well.
Yeah, Mark Selby used his percentages with the last shot when he refused to try and just clip the brown in, played the snooker. And that's another delicate little shot, unless that red has just come a little bit too far across. He'd love to be able to just, I don't think he can see enough of the red to pot it, but if he could see enough to, no, he can't see, he'd have to bend it a little bit. But he'd probably play that. He'd like to knock it safe, or I think a delicate little swerve might be the order of the day here, and hope to knock that red over onto the side cushion, or possibly even into the middle pocket, because if he comes off the cushion here, I mean, he could put Mark Selby right in amongst them.
Yeah, I think this is a hit and hope, Dennis. He's got to try and get a bit of distance with the cue ball and the reds here and hope that he gets it safe. Oh, well, that 4 points is huge, because instead of needing 3 blacks or 2 blacks and a pink now,
Mark Selby, 4.
he's got to bit to work with here. May put him back here, Max Selby. It's quite hard to believe that he actually found the gap between the reds there.
Yeah, he did what you suggested, Ken. He was just hoping to hit them and knock something safe. Well, the chance is now there again for Mark Selby to pinch this fourth frame. It should have been over, well, 7 or 8 minutes ago. Joe Perry had the frame at his mercy. Wow. What was that? Goodness gracious me. He missed that by so far. Wow. Amazing miss. I think Mark Selby is going to have to head to the practice room and knock some balls in to try and get some sort of confidence. Because at the moment he's right under it. He's all over the place, missing pots, poor safety, worrying times for the defending champion.
4. Ten. 11.
Doesn't really matter about snooker and himself there. He needed a couple of chances, but unbelievable scoreline, it has to be said. The defending champion yet to get a frame on the board. Joe Perry leads 4 frames to 0. Who would have thought it?
And it's the kind of stuff of nightmares, you would have to say. You've both been defending champions. You both want things to go well initially. Can you put yourself in Mark's position in this circumstance and just explain what might be going through his head?
Yeah, we've all been there. Every player, every great player, all the players in the game have come to the Crucible Theatre and experienced what it's like to completely unravel in what is the toughest venue we play in. Because of the intensity of it, because how sort of small it is as well, you feel like all eyes are on you, especially if you're the favourite as well. And we all feel for a player like that, but it's fascinating to watch. So now it becomes a damage limitation exercise for the rest of this session.
Now, we saw in the final last year Mark Selby give John Higgins effectively a 6-frame start. He was 10 frames to 4 behind and still came back, but he does not have the luxury of the longest match system to go through. He's only got 19 frames here.
No, and he doesn't have the luxury. He's in the first round here. There's a massive difference between the two things. All the players feel it in the first round. We all know that. Joe Perry, actually, it was funny because it reversed there. Joe started getting a little first dose of clincher's disease. He could see that 4-0 at the interval was looking a great scoreline, missed a couple of shots, but because Mark's been so off colour, he got a couple more opportunities to get through in the frame. But he looks as nervous as a kitten. He's not in any way, shape or form hitting the ball properly. I mean, we've seen miracles come from him before, but this looks a bit different. He looks really in trouble here.
There was a great piece, actually, done by Snookerbacker online who said that Selby's recent record in 2-session matches is really extraordinary. He hasn't lost a 2-session match since September 2016, and he's won all 13 he's played in since then. So he loves these longer matches, but he's really struggling.
But I will also counter that with he's had plenty of 10-9s, 10-8s, I think, in first round. Michael White should have beat him one year when he went on to win the championship. So he's not immune to being nervous in the first round, as we can see. OK, well, we will get back to that one shortly, but we're going to quickly take you to the other table. Now, Marco Fu's record at the Crucible has been pretty solid with a quarter-final and semi-final the last couple of years.
But there's a few question marks, I'm sure, in his mind today, because he hasn't actually played for fully 3 months. After the Masters, he had to go to the docks because he was diagnosed with retinal degeneration and has had to undergo laser treatment to correct the problem. Now, we have not seen him on the scene since then, so how will he fare? We don't know.
Shortly before the Masters, December last year, I found out that I had a retinal degeneration problem. So I went to see the doctors, and then that's what they told me, and they gave me a laser surgery. But I'm still seeing quite a lot of floaters, the black spots in the sky, especially when it's bright, so hopefully they'll go away, but it will probably stay there forever. They might go away in 1 or 2 years, a few months, they're not even sure, but we'll wait and see. It doesn't affect me that much, it's just all in the mind, because sometimes when I play for a few hours, sometimes I play for 4 or 5 hours normally, but now I'm cutting the practice short, a little bit shorter, because I don't want to put too much pressure in the eye, so it's all in the mind, I think playing-wise, it doesn't affect too much. When I'm playing under TV lights, I can see a few more black spots, obviously, but I don't think that's going to affect the playing that much, so yeah, everything's okay. It's great to be back, and after a few months break, I'm feeling fresh. I'm looking forward to playing again. It's always nice to walk out those, curtains, famous Crucible curtains, playing your first match. So, yeah, looking forward to a very tough challenge to me, because I'm playing a very talented young player, Liu Haotian from China. So it's his first time. It's my 15th or 16th time, so there's a little bit difference, in terms of experience. But yeah, it's going to be a great match.
And we hope so too. There are bound to be a few nerves, of course, in Marco's mind after deciding to give it a go here at the Crucible. And there will certainly be a few too for 20-year-old hotshot Chinese opponent Liu Haotian, who's stepping out here for the very first time, as Marco was saying. Interesting to note that Liu was the youngest player ever to win a televised match. That was back in 2012. That was in Shanghai when he was only 14. And who did he beat? Yep, you guessed it, Marco Fu. He certainly didn't seem scared then. I wonder how he's going to hold up on his debut here. 1 frame apiece as we join them, and we're in the company of Peter Ebdon and John Virgo.
That's a very good safety shot from Marco there. Needed to be very accurate. Played that with a trace of check side, right-hand side. Just to square the cue ball up slightly to help to avoid the red on the right-hand side cushion. Oh, what a shot. What a shot.
Yeah, there's nothing like the sound of a ball going right in the heart of the pocket, hitting the leather. And that was a beautiful played shot. I suppose you could say the only thing we haven't had so far, and we've had a few good shots, but no one's made what you would call a frame-winning contribution. He's giving himself a chance here, though.
Five.
Could have played that better. You'll settle for that outcome.
And
now back in perfect position. Play for a choice of reds. Knew the one to the right of the pink would be onto the left middle, but Thought if he found the gap, he could play this one, and it will bring other reds into play. Just got to judge the run through of the cue ball to be on the black. Just it to perfection. The frame's there for the taking now. Well, a scratch of the head tells
26.
me it's run out of position. Didn't hit the black in the centre of the pocket, did he? And that makes all the difference. But you've got to say, so unlucky to finish there. Things that happen on a 12-foot by 6-foot snooker table never ceases to amaze.
Well, I think he may be okay, John, just because I think the bottom of these two reds does go. It's very, very tight. But yes, that was incredible. Could have played that 1,000 times and not ended up there. Yeah, that's a good shot.
27. $34. $35.
Just a little bit twitched in between
42.
there. He'd like to have been on the thread so he could play for black or pink, but I think he's straight enough to be able to hold for the blue.
$43.
But just didn't get the angle on the blue. Looks pretty straight. I mean, you wouldn't expect him to miss this, but if it had just been another inch further down the table, he'd have potted the blue and he'd have been a lot closer to this red. I don't fancy him to miss it.
49.
He got it, but he lost control of the cue ball. $49 points of lead. This to go 56 points of lead, but still a possible 83 remaining.
$56.
It's a good shot on the black, and he's just about on this red to the left middle.
$57.
And you can sort of sense, Peter, can't you, that he's looking more relaxed around the table now.
Yes, he certainly is. And he's certainly a very talented player. As we've already seen this morning, just tends to lose the cue ball a few times and then requires an excellent recovery pot to keep a break going. But he does do that consistently, John.
Well, I don't know if one of those reds will go to the left corner. Well, I presume this is the red he played on, and it does go.
61.
Of course, the pink was available, so he didn't have to do much with the cue ball. So that puts him 67 points in front, 67 remaining. but you would think not for long.
67.68. $73. $74.
This young man scored very heavily indeed in amongst the balls in his final qualifying match at the English Institute of Sport here in Sheffield against Rory McLeod, the Highlander. Very experienced player. We're seeing an example here
81.
of just what he's capable of.
82.
Rory plays for red.
89.
On the side cushion. Do well to pot this. Oh, what a shot! Where's the cue ball going?
90.
Perfect. Steady.
95.
Red in the colour for the century. And it'll be his
96.
maiden one at the Crucible. Well played. Very well played.
102. 104.
Well, what a debut, eh, Peter?
Yes, it's been wonderful, and I'm just maybe thinking that we could have a new category instead of shot of the championship. Maybe we could have recovery shot of the championship, John.
Oh, that red along the top cushion hampered. Yeah, amazing.
$111. 116.
Does love a recovery shot, this boy, John.
Yeah. In and out of balk to get back for the black. That's perfect. Slow down.
122.
Just a bit pacey. Now just a slow trickle to the middle, is it? No, he's played the cut. Anyway, no matter. A marvellous century break. Marco will be kicking himself a little bit, but Israel Hao-Chian, who leads 2-1.
And that, in fact, is the first century of this year's championship here in Sheffield, and it's gone to the debutant. Now, you heard that Peter Ebdon mentioned that he'd beaten Rory McLeod in the final qualifying match to get here, but he'd had to win a couple more before that. And the prior one against Martin O'Donnell, this young man had found himself 5 frames to 9 behind and won 5 in a row. So he's got a bit of grit, this lad, and he's well up as we rejoin them in frame 4.
And now surely it's a formality for Liu Hao-Chian to take a 3-1 lead into the interval. There you see 54 ahead. So red colour red.
8.
And it'll be snookers required. So certainly not the start that Marco Fu was looking for or needed.
14.
Having been out of action, so to speak, for 3 months going on.
15.
Had a couple of half chances, not made the most of them. So well past the point now where his opponent needs Snooker. 67
20.
the lead, 59 remaining. And just to remind you, every time a red's potted,
21.
that takes a possible 8 points away from your opponent.
$26.
Well, the red doesn't go in, but I don't think that'll matter. That'll be a
On the front.
concession. So not the start that Marco Fu was looking for. But Liu Aotian, he'll be well pleased. They go to the mid-session interval. And he leads Marco Fu by 3 frames to 1.
And the Crucible new boy looks very comfortable, doesn't he? By comparison, Marco's top break 32 to this point. In trouble?
He's really struggling. He's struggling with his game. I mean, obviously, he said he's had the laser surgery and what have you, but it's the worst game in the world to be playing if things aren't right, and it's definitely not right with him. He's missing balls all over the place. His safety shots are thick and thin. I mean, I've watched most of that first session there, and he's really been very poor.
And he hasn't played a match since, well, he was drubbed 6-0 at the Masters in January. It's a long time to be thinking about not just your game, but everything, attendant problems around it.
Yeah, and snooker, more so perhaps even at the Crucible, but snooker's a confidence game. You know, anybody that plays any type of ball sport, steel ball sport, you have to be super confident. And if you've got any doubts in your mind, they are magnified here. So effectively, what we see in Marco, it looks like a player waiting to be beaten. You know, he's waiting for something to go wrong, and that's not the right attitude. So it's going to be a monumental match for him, to think, to sort of turn it around, even from 3-1 behind.
This young man looks good, doesn't he?
He's very good. He looks like he should be still doing his homework, but he's very good. Yes. He's amazing, isn't he? I mean, he looks about 12, but what a good player he is. And the scoring in the match with Rory McLeod was fantastic, so he can play. OK,
these matches, both of them, a reminder, continue live on the red button or indeed online for you. You will see everything live on at least one of our platforms over the next 17 days, but we've got to make way for some other programmes, I guess, on the main channels too. So we will be back at 1:45 over on BBC One as Ronnie O'Sullivan begins his campaign for a 6th title of the season, and with it, a 6th world crown. It's a really meaty contest with Scotland's Stephen Maguire. That is coming up at 1:45. Meantime, you better get the kettle on. We're about to have a quick break. Programme 1 is finished. Only another 68 to go between now and the 7th of May. Pace yourselves. It is a marathon, not a sprint.